on 20 separate events that you tried to report it through. Why? Because they needed the crime to have time to continue the crime so the crime can achieve its objectives. Plain and simple. Do you really believe that the fire department, the police departments, including sheriff's departments, okay, ambulance services, hospitals, doctors, administrative staff, medical clinics, medical centers, and every single type of fucking business that you see within your community, when you go through it, type it into gang stalking. Look, there's a bank. Type that in. Not necessarily the name of the bank, but the fact that it's a bank. Okay? Type in a phone store in gang stalking. Okay? Type in a Jack in the Box, Burger King, McDonald's, Starbucks. Okay? Best Buy. The police. Now, do you honestly think when you see all these fucking Google generated responses that nothing's fucking going on? Do you honestly believe that? So, what is when a mechanic works on a car, he sees what make and model car he's got to work on, and then he says, and then he's told symptoms of what the car is doing, and so as a result of what he's told the car is doing, he's going to have a general idea of what might be wrong with the car. So what is he going to do? He's going to go into his garage and he's going to go into his toolbox to get out a specific tool in order so that he can interface with that part of the car that might be causing a problem. Now, why did I bring that up? Because in gang stalking, every single resource they got and every single technique they got is a tool in the toolbox. So, if they got the capability of remote neural monitoring, do you honestly think they won't use it? If they got the capacity for voice morphing, do you honestly think they wouldn't use it? Hold on. Absolutely. Alright, I gotta set the phone down for a second. I'm trying to light my cigarette. Absolutely. Now, here's another tidbit for you to know. Why is it reported all over the internet that gang stalking victims are being tortured in their homes? Tens of thousands are reporting it. Being tortured in their homes through electromagnetic weapons. So how the fuck can they torture you in your home with electromagnetic weapons while you're in your fucking home? Because they're outside of it. And if you got any type of implants in you, they can send the current from that to it as well. Okay? Directed energy weapons, electromagnetic weapons. Okay? So, have you ever heard of a crime in the entire history of the history of electromagnetic weapons being used to cook people's brains? Google my statements, sweethearts. This is even covered on national radio shows, including ones I've been on. Hold on. Oh, absolutely. So, do you really believe when you research all my descriptions and you get all that treasure trove of massive information that comes up from each description, do you honestly believe nothing's going on? Think about what I'm saying. So they fucking staged this big ass fucking event all throughout the night of the 3rd, and then when I woke up the next day, I discovered a person sleeping on the property. And then their property was at another location that was exactly 200 feet away, and it looked like they had started a fire there too. Because once the noise settled down, I did unzip my tent at 4 o'clock in the morning, about 4:30. I did unzip my tent, and I looked out, and I saw this big, gigantic type of brightness coming from that area. And then the next day, when it got light out, I walked over there. I seen there was no physical people over there. There was a bike there and 2 backpacks. Okay? And then when I walked over to the area and I seen there was a bunch of burnt stuff on the ground, I use an alcohol stove for my cooking. So I don't use any type of sticks or wood or anything. I use alcohol stove by buying rubbing alcohol at the store. So check it out. Check this out. So then I said, well, what the fuck? The bike's here, but there's no one physically here. So then I walked up the trail a little bit, and there was somebody wrapped up in a brown tarp. And then I tried to find, and I kept trying to get on Twitter video to make a video about it, and I was finally able to connect because they're jamming my cell phone signal like you would not fucking believe at that wooded area. It's got to a point now to where I can barely make one tweet. They're jamming it nonstop. Okay? So that's why I went and bought the memory card today. Okay? So I can make videos through the memory card at my area. They get saved to the memory card, and then when I go out about a community, I can upload them. Okay? So anyways, so think about what I'm saying. Think smart. A crime that's got all these different tools, all these resources, uses a bunch of different techniques. Also research how homeless people are using gang stalking. And again, how they create the homelessness of victims. Okay? Even Julie McKinney, an ex-Army intelligence officer who did some exposing on the internet, she widely exposed the fact that homeless people are massively used in gang stalking crimes. Absolutely. Why do you think they created the homelessness of me? Because now when you're homeless, you don't have a front door to protect you. Why do you think the cops denied my right to make a police report for the last fucking 10 years every time I've asked them over 20 times? Why? Because they're allowing the crime to go on, and they're cataloging your long history of homelessness, and then turn around and claim later you're crazy. Okay? Like during a staged event at a business, outside of a business, inside of a business, outside of a library, in a library, outside of any fucking business, at a bus stop, on a bus route, okay, while you're walking down the fucking street, okay, and then when they stage events, they can stage the witnesses. But they won't bother looking at your audio evidence of the event that shows that you were not the hostile person other people were. That's a fucking literally. I've already been through it with them. That's a fucking literally. So, I think you're starting to understand why I'm adamant about fucking SDPD and even the San Diego Sheriff's Department and UCSD police as well. Oh, that's a fucking literally. Why? Because I would not be a fucking continued victim of this crime if it wasn't for their whore ass. And who are the fuckers controlling them and using them and in bed with them. So I look at it this way. It's very simple. My life is important to me. It might not be important to their wild asses, but it's important to me. So if I gotta put up with this fucking crime, how did I get gang stalked from fucking Michigan to Connecticut to San Diego? 3,000 miles away from Michigan. That's a federal offense. That's a fucking federal offense. So, do you think if you took that woman out of that car right there and took her fucking car and took her purse and her wallet and everything she's got in it, and then the person took their fucking ID and went to their home and took out everything out of their fucking home, how pissed off do you think that person would have been? They would be fucking steaming. Well, what do you think's happening to my fucking camping gear? What do you think happens when I got to replace a phone when they permanently jam it? Which, by the way, I just paid this phone bill today. Okay, and I got another phone as well. It's the same make and model, same plan. And I just paid this phone bill 3 days ago. So you see, when they stage fucking events, they will use anybody for it, including kids, teenagers, disabled people, the elderly, the handicapped. Google all my statements to gang stalking. So what I do in response to these wild whores is I fucking predict what they're going to do before they do it. Like this morning. If you go down this road right here and then go way down the road, there's a bus stop. When I got to that bus stop this morning, I predicted in my digital tape recorder, let me show it to you. I said, let's see if anybody repeats suck dick, gang stalk, oh my God, around me, anywhere I go today. I also said, let's see if the tape recorder picks up anybody saying, is she scared or she sounds fucked up. It was caught at Best Buy that I went to after I got on the bus that came to that bus stop. The Best Buy's right over here. I then left Best Buy and went to Domino's, and it was caught over there. Repeatedly being said. So how the fuck did they know I was going to Domino's? Because I don't remember if I put Domino's in my prediction tweet this morning. But let's assume that I did. It wouldn't matter. How still did they know I was going? Because they're not supposed to be monitoring my Twitter account. Okay? Fucking caught. So in closing, go to YouTube search box and type in the following in the way I describe. M as in Mary, MTS, gang stalk, oh my God, suck my DICK. When you bring that playlist up, you want to put on a good set of headphones. You want to be in a quiet environment. Hold on. You want to be in a quiet environment, okay? And you want to bring up those videos, and what you want to listen for is gang stalk, oh my God, suck dick, gang stalk, oh my God, suck my dick. Said in that way, back to back. Sometimes they'll say suck my dick first, then gang stalk, then oh my God, okay? But yet each word is said by different people, yet they're said back very close together, sometimes immediately back to back. Look at all the places that were caught. UCSD, I got over 1,000 audio files of that shit being caught on UCSD. I'm still catching UCSD students to this fucking day staying around me when I'm out in my community, because half of them are literally wearing UCSD apparel. I've even approached some of them and I'll say, are you guys UCSD students? And they'll say, yeah. Right after they were caught on tape saying suck dick. I just caught one like a week ago doing it. Literally. I've also caught that shit being said by bicyclists that go by my wooded areas in live Periscope videos. Okay? So, the only way that this shit could fucking be propped up around me is by these wild whores tracking me. The same wild whores that propped up those homeless people. In fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. Do you honestly think that if you're a gang stalking victim that has suffered the extreme brutal crimes that I've endured, do you honestly think that making all these fucking different sounds, the sounds, every single sound that was made around that property and on the property that night was absolutely heard before by me, propped up through people who made those types of sounds in the past and then said gang stalk? So you need to really research the sensitization technique of gang stalking. Is there overt way to let you know somebody's in the area purposely because of gang stalking? You should also know they can heterodyne fear onto you during a staged event. So that way, if they use voice to skull with voice morphing on you, they're tricking the brain into believing that this is your fear. They're tricking the brain into believing that this is your responding thought to the staged event, and the heterodyne fear, oh, I better call the cops. Now the cops have a normal appearing reason to know where I'm at. So it literally doesn't matter. They know what you can't prove yet. But let me tell you something right now when it comes to these sick bitch demonic whores. The entire fucking community practically of La Jolla knows I'm being gang stalked because these wild animals have practically used everybody in this community. All the businesses that I've been into over there were used. Whole Foods Market, CVS, when Pete's Coffee Shop was there, when Radio Shack was there, Phil's Coffee Shop, the post office. Okay? What else? What other places have I been into? I've caught it when I'm standing in the fucking parking lot smoking a cigarette. And I've caught it in every business I've been into over here as well. Now, whoever the fuck is using the businesses that I go to is a satanic bitch that's hosting what I'm enduring. And you should always know that voice to skull, including voice to skull with voice morphing, remote neural monitoring, all these technologies are exposed online to be connected to only one crime, and that's gang stalking. As well as ear implants. Why? I mean, think about what I'm saying. Have you ever heard, like, when you hear the general crime of burglary? Okay? Think about it. When you've ever heard about burglary, like being reported on the news or seen it reported in a newspaper, have you ever seen voice to skull mentioned? No. Gang stalking is the only crime in the United States that uses voice to skull. Now, they can use voice to skull in a burglary. They can use voice to skull to get a burglar to burglarize a house so they can set him up. Not because he's breaking the fucking law, because they're using him as a lot of these prisons and detention centers are now privately owned, and they get federal dollars per inmate. Boom. And you should also know that a lot of probation services now are privately contracted. Set somebody up for any motherfucking type of crime through this fucking technology, and then they gotta pay probation costs. And who are the services that own these fucking services? Is it organized crime? I've even seen information on the internet that some of these alphabet agencies are the ones that owns a lot of medical centers that gang stalking victims get funneled into. And the only way to find out that they're connected to them is by really digging in, because they'll put up front people and front companies, shell companies, to make it appear that somebody else owns them. I've seen exposure. Roger, the Techno Crime Fighters video series videos, and many others have stated that DHS owns quite a few of them. Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, because they're treating human beings as straw piece of people for racketeering schemes. And I just don't give a fuck. You come into my life, assholes, I'll expose every single fucking thing I know about you. Go to Google and type in mass shootings, voice to skull, and gang stalking. I just don't fucking care. I literally do not care. These sick satanic fucking bitches are not only perpetrating this crime against me, but allowing it to happen, aiding and abetting it happening. And then if they can use this tech on you so they can say, well, we found out that Leslie went missing. We don't know where the hell she's at. Oh, well, didn't we have a 911 call? Didn't we see some type of report that a homeless person by the name of Leslie Williams called the cops on a certain day? Where did she say she was staying at? And then they fucking go and look for you and they find you dead. Okay? Murdered through gang stalking. I'm just fucking saying this because you gotta understand something. We're literally dealing with a crime, literally, that is involved in mass murder. Literally. It's no. Why do you think victims are being killed through directed energy weapons and ultrasonic sound and electromagnetic weapons? It's fucking mass murder. Check this out, and I literally gotta let you go. Go to Google and type in how they're taking out third-party life insurance policies on victims. Organ harvesting as well. Okay? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So the way I see it, these wild animals, people I don't even motherfucking know, have completely intruded upon every aspect of my life, threw me out on the street, so they can now have a normal appearance. Look, if I got an apartment, nobody can fucking enter my apartment door and commit a crime against me without being charged for that crime as well, entering the door. But now that you're homeless, you don't have a fucking thing to fucking protect you. Alright, I literally gotta go. So, understand and know, we're gonna see if anything happens to me at Wooded Areas. Arrests, tickets, assaults, robberies, rapes, me end up missing. And that's why I said at the beginning of this fucking video, I will never leave San Diego until the fucking psychopaths that fucking manage this crime against me, every second of it, are investigated uncorruptly, prosecuted, and convicted. And I already know that ain't gonna happen. You really think that satanic bitches in the fucking, in the government at the federal, state, and local level are gonna prosecute themselves? Of course not. all the cops that they've used over the years. You really think that they're gonna go and charge cops that they've used? Of course not. All right, I gotta go. Everybody, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Let's see how this works out. Have a good day now.